Go fuck yourself! You shitpaws give chase, I will kill your dicks!
What in oblivion is that?
What do you say, guys? You can just hang outside in the sun all day tossing a ball around. Or you can sit at your computer and do something that matters.
No one intervened on behalf of...
This week on the RDS cast, game creators, golden age or total slave wage. Either way, RDS does what it wants. Hello and welcome to episode 41 of the RDS cast. That's right, 41 of these. Your most offensive source for all things nerd, geek, and gaming. And this week, I'm brought to you again by your host, Racer. Because, well, we drug a issue of Guns and Ammo through the hills of Kentucky and still no Cleaser Gates. So I am joined again this week by Zero.
Hey guys, what's going on?
And that man from the foreign land in the south, Black Sun.
Evening, everyone. Great to be back. Time to have some fun.
He sells that really well, doesn't he? Does everybody feel like he sells it really well? Like, he's almost excited to be here, but just feels more obligated than anything else? Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
Sounds like my last 25 dates and marriage.
Oh, man. At least there's a little bit of fun in there somewhere.
I mean, I don't want to get out the whiteboard or my fucking map that I've got on the back of one of those little spinny boards that you always see in those movies where someone's trying to figure out who killed their parents, but I don't think it's been 20 dates.
Don't think so?
No, I really don't. I think, like I said, I've got a rubric or something. I don't know what one of the fancy words are using these days to call stupid shit. But yeah, fucking A, it is podcast night. And like we tend to do, what's everybody been playing this week, if anything?
A little bit of Destiny 2, and that's about all I've had time for. Got a few things done, and it doesn't require a whole lot of time each week. I can do a few things, have a little bit of fun, and then back to the fun stuff of learning to program.
Yeah, I should really get back to that, but during one of the nights of no sleep, I decided that I was going to attempt to solo the Nightfall, and after 2 hours, I just got up, unplugged my PS4, and went, "Yeah, this isn't what I need to do right now."
Yeah.
Real rough?
It wasn't really rough, just state of mind. It was not the best thing to be doing to keep smashing my face into a wall with a timer on it.
Yeah, come to think about it, I can understand that, bud.
Last week's I played around a little bit with it. I made one attempt at it just to see, and I'd say I believe that's the one with that had the Vex in there to greet you, and they were not happy. They were all sorts of pissed off for some reason.
So you're saying they were hostile and not friendly? Is that what you're trying to get at?
A touch, yes, and they brought their big guns. They didn't bring their normal pea shooters.
Oh no.
Yeah, there was an awful lot of them. I mean, grenades did some work. That was appreciated, but not nearly enough.
Only so many grenades, so quick to be had.
So yeah. This week's experience for Destiny 2 for me has been not playing it. Although the 3 seconds I spent browsing the internet for Destiny 2 related items, it did look like, I did not confirm this, but it does look like Dead Orbit is in fact Best Orbit.
Yes, they are. I can confirm that, and I went and got me a fresh new scout rifle.
Mm-hmm. Got me some nice stuff too.
Well, there we go. It's nice to know that sometime far in the future, after humanity reaches the stars, we manage to overcome all kinds of hurdles and achieve technological greatness, and then completely fuck that. There will still be that kid wearing way too much eye makeup going, dude, why'd you even bother?
So basically saying, fuck this place, we need to get out of here anyways.
Well, I mean, I don't really pay attention to the message. I just, hang out because eventually, there's going to be that cute goth chick that hangs out there. That's really the only reason I've always pledged to Dead Orbit.
Yeah.
When can
Naturally.
hope. That was basically his message, though. He's like, yeah. Nope, we need to just finish this up, and then we just need to take off out of here and go elsewhere. Find a new home, basically. Stop fighting for this piece of garbage.
I mean, that's always been Dead Orbit's message: is leave, get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, future war called is the Technicolor Dreamcoat, and I don't know, New Monarchy wants me to invest in his brother's business. Something about fucking, I don't know, trickle down economics or glimmers. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I'd say I kind of, yeah, vaguely remember them, and it's like, that might make more sense, but yeah, that Orbit, I'm going that route.
For
Too
the
late to go back now.
shaders.
Oh, they're nice, in my opinion. I got some of them already, and they're, the best ones I found so far.
Yeah, the shaders look pretty good.
I mean, Gates would hate them, but yeah, whatever. He's busy with Cletus.
I'm sure Cletus has got him some neon pink shit.
That's how he gets him there to stay.
That's how That's how he fooled him into coming.
Yeah, the initial time, and then he just keeps going back now. It's like, yep, no problem. You got the lights up? I'll be there. Make some pretty pink drinks too, I hear.
So, sounds like you may dip your toe into some D20. Anything else in the stable?
Yeah, Steam had, I believe it was Warner Brothers games on sale this weekend, and I picked up Mad Max and Middle Earth: Shadows of Mordor. I haven't played Shadows of Mordor yet, but I've really been enjoying Mad Max. I don't know if either of you have played it, but it's kind of like a mix between like Far Cry and Tomb Raider and Grand Theft Auto. I guess that's the best way to describe it. You take those three games, mash them together, and there you have Mad Max. There's lots of action to be had. It's different, but it's pretty cool, and I've been digging my time with it. Black Sun, like you said, not really your thing, and I think it does fall into that category of, if it's something you enjoy, you really enjoy it, or it's something you're not gonna, and you just won't. Like, I like the open world games like Far Cry and stuff. Like that's one of those things that I really enjoy, and Mad Max hit that on the head pretty well, really. So that's been the other thing I've been into. I'm hoping to finish it up maybe this weekend sometime and get into Shadows of Mordor, because I heard some pretty decent things about that one too.
I'd say I like to say the Far Cry. Another one probably similar to Mad Max that I played would be Rage, which would be a few years back when that came out. And Shadows of Mordor, yeah, that's quite fun. I have that one.
Yeah. I thought I
I-
had remembered you and Gates talking about it at one point.
I think so. So I remember I got it, and then I think he picked it up on sale also, and so I'd say I finished it off, and I got some hours in it. It was definitely fun.
But yeah, that's really been the sum total. Just a little bit of D2 and Mad Max. Had
Well,
had a lot of things going on this week, kind of like Racer.
You will have that.
On occasion.
And Racer, I'm guessing you just smashed your head a little bit, and that's about all you've been into this week.
yeah, it's a pretty succinct description. Not a whole lot of game playing going on. I did do a little looking, but never found anything. A lot of YouTube videos. I've consumed a great bit of that content, but not much game playing unless you count hitting this space bar.
Well, that's an interesting game. If you just need something nice and easy, that's not doesn't require a lot of thinking.
I think we all have weeks like that. Like there are times when I will come home from work and I'll be like, I want to play something, but I'll start looking through my stuff and it's just nothing looks appealing. I end up falling into the YouTube hole and don't come out until I'm ready to go to bed.
There you go. Yeah, been there, done.
Well, sounds like we got some variation, a little bit of back and forth on Destiny 2 being the game we're still waiting for the rest of it to come out, I guess. So yeah, that's not a terrific amount of new stuff to get into as far as what we've been playing. I guess we'll have to wait for the new hotness, whatever the hell that ends up being, to kind of reinvigorate that side of the discussion.
Yeah, I'd say maybe we'll get together here one of these weekends or Fridays or something, and maybe give an attempt at the raid or Nightfall or something else.
That does sound like it could be fun.
I know Arctic and I are ready for Nightfall for our Rat King.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on the intro stage of that quest.
Yeah, I'd say it took us, I don't know, half an hour to an hour, I think, to get to that point. It's maybe a little more, but it's not too bad. Say, few patrols, few public events, two crucibles, and Nightfall, I believe. So not too bad. We saved the Nightfall for the whole reset and what we needed anyways for last week, and yeah, we made it actually efficient.
Well, on that note, we'll jump into a little bit of news. Not a hot week for that either, but we've got New York Comic Con's going on and all kinds of weird shit, so I'm sure we're going to have plenty of comic book movie and comic book based IPs and shit that'll have some teasers and junk coming out, and that's actually what we're gonna open up with.
Ooh.
Following on the wonderful heels of what now is being viewed as another paint by numbers, but a fantastic celebration of a great job doing paint by numbers in Spider-Man Homecoming. Sony can't make up their mind about exactly what they're doing with Venom.
There's a surprise.
They have had some amazing, amazing writers work on it. They picked up, honestly, some of the most talented stunt coordinators in the business right now. A guy from John Wick, a couple other pretty major coordinators are now all involved in the project. Tom Hardy is still set to take on the lead role as, I believe, Eddie Brock version of Venom. And Jenny Slate is now going to co-star. Yeah, the chick that was kind of cute but kind of annoying but kind of funny from that one movie. Yeah. But the most interesting choice they've made, the screenwriter for 50 Shades Darker is redrafting the script.
Interesting.
They have a couple other credits, including Gray, under their belt, and a lot of people seem to be interested to see what they're going to do, but yeah, Sony. I don't think this is exactly what you want to be heading into this late in the game. Like, that's not, I don't know. I guess we'll see, but it seems a little strange to me.
Yeah, you could say that. Not one. I mean, the John Wick stunt coordinator. I mean, he's one of the best around. That's great.
Yeah.
I can see where they're going from there, or for that, and yeah, good job, props there. And then they went this way with 50 Shades Darker. Interesting twist.
Like they took a real hard left on that. Like that is one of those things I definitely did not ever like. You know, Gates would always ask us, "What's the craziest thing you could think could happen?" Like that's one of those crazy things. That, huh? No, I don't see it. No.
I mean, give them credit. Maybe they have an idea or some hope there. Or they've got an amazing initial script planned and the screenplay is just being redrafted to fit some kind of idea. But all I know at this point, if Eddie Brock ends up being a millionaire and is luring young women into his bedroom to do strange things, because the strange thing Venom does is try and eat your brain, I don't really think that's going to hit any one of their target audiences.
No, probably not. Huh? Who knows? Maybe this dude is a huge comic fan, and maybe he's got a fucking great fucking idea. Like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be that fucking negative asshole. This son of a bitch is gonna fuck this all up. Because about the time I say something real stupid like that, he's gonna fucking like knock a home run out of the fucking state, not just out of the park, out of the state with the movie. So, but I don't know. It just seems real strange to me, guys.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that may not be as much of a hard left turn as, just pulling an e-brake and spinning out of control down the highway, possibly.
Yeah, that's a good point, Black Sun. That might end up being what happens.
It could go either way. I mean, it could be, it's like, all right, we could touch up this. He's got some good ideas for a few things he showed, so they brought him in, and they're just going to touch a few things, or it could go that way. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
I don't know. Like, here's hoping for the best, because, like, Venom is a real cool, like, comic book property. Like, I really dig it, but, like, I'm real worried that Sony's gonna fuck this one real hard.
Sony would never do such a thing.
It seems like there's an awful lot of jokes that everybody is trying to find a reason behind it, whether Kelly Marcel is going to be able to bring a more R-rated take to what they've already got, or whether they're just going to completely redo it, or insert, much like I did, some kind of sexually oriented joke. Or if they just want to add credibility or add a female touch to the writing. It is really hard to tell at this point. But hey, no, McFarlane is still attached in one way, shape, or form. So we'll see what turns up. But
Yes, we will.
that's not the strangest thing we have in the news. That's right. It's already Pun Town. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Not content to sit on top of their media empire of billions and billions of dollars, Netflix is getting into games.
Wait,
Really?
what? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, they produced a licensed game based on Stranger Things for phones.
What? Netflix, why? Why would you do this? Why?
More money? Because they don't have enough.
Well, I get the point of putting it on phones because then it's accessible to every single person that has a fucking phone. I totally understand that. But fuck, come on. You could have done so much better.
I will give them credit for this. The game was produced by a small studio in Texas, so it's not like they got it farmed out to some crap hole. And for a mobile game, it looks okay. I'm sure it'll be riddled with the same issues of every other mobile game, which is why I haven't played a game on my cell phone in multiple years. But it is interesting to see them dipping their toe into it. We know they've brought video game IPs to Netflix, so only seems to make sense they're going back the other direction now. But I, for one, did my normal Seinfeld based idea of everybody else thinks it's the greatest goddamn thing ever, so I'm not going to watch it because I'm just sick and tired of fucking hearing about it. So I was not on the Stranger Things hype train. And now that it's been turned into a mobile game, my vague sense of superiority is reinforced. Haha, look at the thing you like being destroyed.
Yeah. Like, Gates was a real big Stranger Things fan, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't talk to a single person. Like, everybody I knew thought that was great. I knew people that just marathoned that show as soon as it came out. And I mean, even the person that was living in my house at the time, like, it came out and she was done with it in a day. Like, it was over. And really? I couldn't get into it. I could not start watching it. I'm like,
I never got big into it either.
It's every 80s trope. Okay, I get it. You're trying to pluck at those senses of nostalgia. This just didn't hit it for me because, honestly, I didn't care for the 80s that much. Yeah, let's spend 6.5 or 8 hours or whatever reliving that time period. Woo! You know why that 80s show failed abysmally? Because it wasn't that good of a decade.
They didn't have enough big hair. Just saying.
No, I'm pretty sure the pilot introduced a dude with Liberty spikes that were a good foot tall, so the show had the hair.
Yeah, so you never watched it, so I couldn't really tell you.
That is really all I remember. Like, a dude that looked like he was trying to audition for a punk band of some kind.
Was it at least bright neon colored of some sort?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was fucking bright green.
Yep.
Awesome.
So you either had to be green or pink, one of the two. That's really the only two options they ever went with.
So if you're into that kind of shit, the things that I hate, which is most everything, there you go. You should be able to find it on the iTunes store or the Android App Store or whatever else. Google Play, fuck who knows. Load up the OS on your toaster, it's probably there too.
It's everywhere.
And speaking of old, and not really before seen event, the multiplayer services for Star Wars Battlefront 2 have been restored.
Really? Huh.
Good old games. I don't know whether I did not find many details on what exactly happened or how they managed to do it, but since GameSpy went down, the multiplayer functions for Star Wars Battlefront 2 have been dead, which I remember when it happened and everybody was really, really upset.
That was going to
But
affect a bunch of games, and not everybody prepared very well for it.
yeah, but good old games managed to get the multiplayer code up and running. And despite some hiccups where their servers weren't ready for the massive influx of people, took them a little while. They got everything stabilized, and apparently there has been a massive, massive return to the Battlefront 2 multiplayer.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I love Battlefront 2. Like that's one of my favorite Star Wars games to play. Like this is good news for me, man.
Apparently you were not alone. There are a lot of people playing that game. I'm pretty sure at this point a lot of current launches would be happy to have the kind of numbers that they're posting.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know if either of you two ever played it, but it was a well constructed game. It was solid. Like you didn't have weird hiccups and shit. Like it was a solid game and it was real fun to play.
Hopefully the new Battlefront 2 is actually taking a page from it. It seems like they listened and they are returning to a single player story driven content of some kind, whether it's just, a chain of missions and trying to bring back some of the old school feel that made the original Battlefront games as much fun as they were. So this may be an extra little bit to push EA to go, if your old one's doing so well, maybe you shouldn't try and completely reinvent that wheel.
That would make sense, but we know how that goes a lot of time.
That would make a lot of sense. That's exactly why that's not going to happen, guys. Let's be honest.
Some companies do learn. We never know. I mean, not always.
There is always hope.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
There's
I don't
always-
remember playing Battlefront 2, the original, but I did play a lot of the old EA Star Wars games.
There's always hope for it, but it just seems like so many of these huge companies are like, no, we're gonna put out the game. Don't worry, we know what's best for you, whether you like it or not. And since we sleep on a mountain of money, we don't fucking care whether you like it or not.
And then after they release it, they run around trying to fix stuff to make the community happy.
And for all of our fans out there in TV land, that's right. Yet again this week, Reverb is brought to you by Zero.
It's his specialty.
Yeah.
Our last bit of news for the day. We had Metroid Samus Returns or the Metroid 2 remake released on 3DS recently. And the series director has had a ton of interviews done and has basically come out and said that he loves what they've done. He loves the remake, but they're taking a step back and they really want to think about if that's the path forward for the 2D series. And then immediately caved at the end of his own statement and went, but if enough fans really want remakes, then that's what we'll do.
So they're trying, or in the end, they might listen to the fans and give them what they want.
Well, basically, it sounds like he's saying that they want to do something new. He'd like to have another 2D new Metroid game come out. In one of the interviews he gave, they actually brought up the fact that Netflix made a pretty amazing Castlevania animated series, and the director of said series has publicly stated that he wants to do a dark Metroid series.
Oh, that would be real cool. Like, if it's the same guy that did Castlevania, like, the Castlevania shit was knocked out of the park. If it's that same guy, I'll bet you he can make a killer Metroid series.
And again, the series director was kind of like, hand waving. I don't want to be involved in this conversation right now. It was excellent. It was really well done. Other PR statements. Where's my handler?
No, I know, Racer, you watch the Castlevania stuff on Netflix. Black Sun, did you get a chance to give it a see?
I did. Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was spectacular. The only issue I had with it was there wasn't enough of it. That was my only issue. There wasn't enough of it.
Yeah, I'd say it got you going. It was really good, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Say Arctic actually, I think was the one that initially told me about it or turned me on to it. So yeah, I started watching it then, and it didn't take long to get through it. But yeah, it was done real well.
I think that could be really cool to see a Metroid series done like that. I think that'd be real neat.
Hopefully they make it a little longer, and yeah, I think if they say plan it out, and since the Castlevania one did so well, they know there's the people out there that want it most likely. Put a little bit more, get some more episodes done ahead, and release 10 or whatever at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy behind it, Adi Shankar, is the one that did all of the short, like, gritty reimaginings. The not the full remake, but the Power Rangers dark one that had fucking the dude from Dawson's Creek in it.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Punisher short, like, this guy, the reason I think it resonates so much with us is this guy is just slightly younger than we are, and that was, like, really his thing is the same things we grew up with. So I think it hits those points because he gets it.
I can see that. I think that's a good point.
He has his own very strong vision for what things are. It's not everything I've read is he goes in with an idea, he makes it, and he kind of, once his vision is gelled, he doesn't listen to, oh, this would be awesome, or we should have this, or blah, blah, blah. He just does his thing.
See, sometimes that's what's needed, or that's what's good. Others, it's it's a mix of a bunch of different things.
How's
What
the
they
old,
think would go.
how's the old saying go, Racer? Too many cooks in the kitchen ruin the soup, or something like that.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah, like sometimes you just need that one person saying, "This is what we're gonna do. Like this is how we're gonna make it. This is what it needs to look like." There is something to be said about that, and not 10 people saying, "No, no, no, we should do this," and "No, no, no, we should do this," and then you're trying to get everybody on the same page, and it just ends up being a fucking dumpster fire.
Get the one that's like, no, we need more onions, and then that pisses her off,
Hey,
and
hey,
he's out.
hey. I'm the only one that's allowed to make fun of my dating life here. But yeah, it would be interesting to see something like that. And I still hold out hope that Metroid returns to 2D gloriously. A lot of the remake involved, honestly, them getting in touch with Castlevania teams and taking that idea further. So it will be interesting to see how much these two mediums intertwine. But if nothing else, the news this week has shown us that there is a back and forth, and it looks like we may be getting Netflix in our games and games in our Netflix.
Just what we need.
I want to say that bothers me, but Netflix, they have done so many things right that I hold hope that they could follow that trend with games.
Now, you see, I am waiting for the day that they go full Google. Like, there's just been too much good and too much good press and everything else. Like, Netflix, just I realized that there was a slow build and it took them a while to get to where they are. So it's not like they just appeared overnight, but it really does feel like they did. It was just this bright, shining media ship sailed into port and was like, I have cures for everything that ails you. Now take it and don't look behind that tarp. So I can't help but feel like one day we're gonna wake up, or there's gonna be millions of fucking tinfoil hat theories, and there's gonna be like, but Netflix has been reading our minds.
It's
Maybe
okay, they
like-
all do now.
Yeah, I don't have to edit my suggested list anymore. Does it look like I give a shit that they read my mind? Trust me, they know what kind of fucked up shit I watch. They know already. They didn't have to read my mind for that. It's on my saved list.
Oh man.
And they say some companies know exactly which ads that you love the most.
Oh, I got some other weird Big Brother shit that has gone on this week. Like, bank record now tied, I have to assume. Because I've not Google searched, I have not looked up, I have not anything touched anything related to Buffalo Wild Wings of fucking in my internet history. Period. Went there for lunch yesterday. I started getting Buffalo Wild Wings ads on YouTube today.
Huh? Nuh-uh.
Wait, gets weirder. A month ago, go to dinner at a friend's house. Being the polite house guest that I am, I pick up a bottle of wine. Not a fucking I mean, it wasn't like a $5 bottle or box of wine or anything. It was a decent Cabernet from a weird brand that I'd never heard of. Guess who the fuck is getting advertised for fucking YouTube ads now?
Nuh-uh.
I'm dead fucking serious. Dead fucking serious.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Like, I have
They're into more
never,
things than you knew.
never fucking had anything like that tied, much less a wine advertisement on YouTube for me before. And then it was just like their engine had a hitch and then suddenly it jumped. And I was half asleep sitting here, and then a fucking wine ad popped up, and I'm like, that logo looks really familiar. And I started looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck? This wasn't even in my house.
And say I wasn't doing any searching for Buffalo Wild Wings or wine while I was there. So wasn't me on that one.
Yeah, I don't know what's going down, but that kind of tripped me the fuck out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure.
So remember, kids, they're always watching.
Right? Holy shit, dude.
So now that everybody's, lining their wallets with tinfoil and making sure they've got their helmets on, let's talk about the current state of game development and what it means for those creators. Is this a golden age where they can actually create whatever they want, or is this all paint by numbers and design by committee?
Depends on who you are and who you're with, and I say, in my opinion, I believe that's also why people are getting tired of the paint or say program by numbers, more or less, and you're seeing a lot more of the indie developers pop up and release stuff.
I mean, I think that comes down to a larger issue than what we have seen historically in game development. Because if you go back to the mid 2000s and earlier, yeah, you had cases where companies were licensing their engine for others to use, but it was not nearly as prevalent, and not nearly as prevalent for a company to just build an engine.
Mhm.
I mean, things like this is why 7 years ago I got so excited when Konami had basically given Kojima a blank checkbook and was like, all right, build an engine, do what you want. And to his credit, dude built one hell of an engine. The Fox engine surpassed, as far as I'm concerned, what we saw on consoles, and then he unleashed the motherfucker on PCs, and you had this whole other realm. Like his early test shots, obviously running in development hardware, where they just remapped an entire conference room at Konami, and you couldn't tell the fucking difference. His rendered in-game conference room looked exactly like the Konami conference room. There was no discernible difference in a high-def image between the two.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But
Not an easy feat.
yeah, and there's not a lot of companies that are like, okay, well, our dev cycle on this game is 7 years. We're going to dump $250 million into it. Here, take another 8 years and another like $2 billion and build an own in-house engine that's going to be extinct most likely in another 5 years afterwards when we go to a whole new hardware generation. Yeah, that's cool. We're going to believe that kind of money. So that, I feel like that's kind of given us where we see similarities, because so many people are using the same engines, and Black Sun is more familiar than the rest of us with that at this point. But things like Unity being out there, and then you had your Unreal Engine, and all of those became licensed items. And then the Crisis engine became licensed property. In fact, it went to the point where they're like, we're not going to make games anymore. We're just going to sell the Crisis engine. Fuck it.
Updated occasionally, and here's your new one. Give us more money. Here's a few new features, and continue on. I mean, and that's the thing. Those are 3 of the 4 main ones. I would say the next one in there would be the Quake engine with the OpenGL side of it. That's the other big one, and that's like you're saying. Most everybody uses one of them 4 things between. So Unity and Unreal are the big 2. I think Crysis has fallen off a little bit, and then I would say the Quake engine comes in around 3rd. It's just, yeah, no one's making their own engines much anymore. And it's like you said, there's not. You got to have a team dedicated to that, and like you said, you got a short life cycle span. The hardware is moving quick enough, or it was. It slowed down a little bit over the past few years, but I mean, the CPU side is about going to be stable for a while, but the graphics is starting to take off again. So they're going to be needing to update parts of the engines to be able to do everything they want to with the new GPUs coming out.
Yeah, that's the one side where we see a lot of the sameness between everything. But the real question, what it seems to come down to, and you're right, yes, indie studios give you that chance to see ideas, but I still don't think. I think we're seeing a bare bones or a idea presented instead of actually what somebody necessarily wants to build. The modern development environment makes it very, very dangerous and nearly impossible for a lot of these dreams to come true. I mean, you look at something as ridiculous as it is, Dark Souls, Demon Souls only came to existence because of a mistake. And then nobody paying attention to what was going on for a period of like 2 years. And at that point, they were so close to done, they're just like, fuck it, ship it anyways.
Huh? Really?
Oh yeah, and they're not the only one. There's been a few games out there that same thing has happened with, and so I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I know there's multiple games that have been that way. It's like they're going through it, they're running the development cycle, and someone missed something, and at the end it's like, well, fuck, we can't go back and fix this late in the game, and say they go ahead and they tweak a few things, push it out, and say sometimes it's a big hit and it just takes off, and it's like, all right, well, so yeah, we're just gonna keep that now.
Well, that was the thing with Demon Souls. It was basically a pet project, and he went in with every intention of making a soul-crushing game. Like he wanted to go back to a massively punishing a huge risk reward. I mean, literally, chapter 1 of game design. Doesn't matter whether it's a fucking board game, a video game, what it is. And he wanted it amped up and presented the project and was like, okay, this is what I want to do. It's going to be notoriously hard. And they were like, it's probably not a good idea. It doesn't seem like we're going to sell a lot of those, but if you go off in your corner and work on your thing, that's cool. And he was like, okay, well, I'm going to go grab these people, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And then basically he got ignored for a period of time that they had the game almost finished. And it would have been more expensive to just scrap it than it was to put a title on it and slap it out the door. And it hit, and yeah, it was devastatingly hard, but it found its niche audience and then grew from there. So you had this one chance where the company was big enough that the dude actually got to make it and make it really at the time what he wanted it to be. And yes, it's grown and they've made it more approachable and less approachable, and that's not even the beginning of the point, but that whole series spawned from the fact that an accident occurred that let him pursue that dream in a AAA environment. Nobody really likes those kind of risks when you're going to a board and saying, okay, well, this guy has this off the wall idea. Let's dump a ton of money into that. There's no guaranteed return on investment. Nobody wants to take those chances, which I think that is where we draw the line. That's where it becomes the dream killer. Unless you're so well established that people expect that kind of crazy from you, it just doesn't get made so much unless you're fucking Beyond Good and Evil. Cannot think of the guy's name now. Lionhead Studio. Peter Molyneux. If you're Peter Molyneux, yes, you will probably get to make some version of the game that you're going to talk about like it is a reality when you're not even done with the storyboard sequences. And that it will never measure up. But you're still going to get to make that game, and somebody is going to be dumb enough to give you the money to make it. Or if you're David Cage, in which case you're again going to do some really weird shit. And I don't mean weird like Kojima weird. I mean like they should probably lock you in a room weird.
Yeah, definitely.
Which you'll have that occasionally.
I don't know. It seems like indie developers fall on the end of the stick where they have a great idea, but they can't follow all the way through with it because they don't have the money and the time and the resources that AAA games get. And AAA games never seem to get to do all the things that they want to do because there's deadlines or race, like you were saying, it's too risky. You know, they don't believe they're going to have enough of an audience for it to make a return on their investment. Like, I don't want to say it seems like the games are unfinished, but it really seems like they weren't all they could have been. You know what I mean?
Oh, I fully agree there, and I think they, most of them they want to do a lot more, and they want to polish and complete them to what they fully want. But if you think about it, just the time it would take to do it. I mean, the AAA, they're doing 1 year development cycles, and just think about the amount of people on each team. I mean, you're 200-300 people on a team, easy, between programmers to game design and producers and everything in between. It's just, and say indie, they want to do that, but until they get established and able to take a little more time or bring more on, they can't give you everything that they want. Unfortunately, they give you the best of their ability of what their dream is and what they want, but they're still limited.
I got two devil's advocates for you here, because we're looking at this through very, very rose-colored glasses. Number one, we can go back to the heyday, say 2001 of game development, when money flowed like wine and budgets were huge and new IPs were coming out left and right. We're assuming the great games, the games that we love, that we have these bright memories of, were the vision. Now you take it even further back and you go to the guys that were designing adventure games on the Atari and the NES. Very early rudimentary things. That was not the dream. We wouldn't have a single remake of a game if that was the dream. And we have seen enough AAA remakes, some for a budget line item, and some due to a desire to create a better version. We didn't see these realized dreams back then. We saw people working within the confines of the technology or the confines of the budget they had then, just like we do now. So I don't think necessarily we are so much limited more so now than we used to be. I think we've just applied a different set of barriers to what is there. So I think really that's kind of the way we have to look at it. I don't think the goalposts have shifted nearly as much as we think. I think the goalposts themselves have changed what their form is.
That's really well put.
See, there's a few. I'm not saying I got to meet a couple indie developers or owners, or yeah, basically people running indie studio and whatnot, and they're basically at that point where they're getting there, but they're holding off and they're not pushing for getting development done. In they're going for their full imagination of what they want to be able to do with it and whatnot. It may not be quite the graphics as some of the AAA or whatever, but that wasn't what they were imagining for. And they're just they set their sights on it and what they want to do, and they're sticking to it. I know there's some though. Also, I've heard that they want to, but then things start getting tight and they gotta cut short a little bit of what they want. But I do understand what you're saying. That say a very good point.
Well, here's the other item for devil's advocate. What happens when you literally have all of it? You have unlimited control, nigh unlimited budget, nigh unlimited staff. You have everything. You've got the perfect storm. Literally, the goalpost could be on fucking Saturn, and you could cruise by it with no issues. You know what you get when that happens? Half-Life 3.
But this will be out beginning of next year, right?
Uh-huh. Once you can make your dream, and there are no limits to your dream, you can no longer create it. Not if you are in any way, shape, or form a creative type of person, because you will never be satisfied with the results, and that dream will always get bigger. See every failed Kickstarter program that has had a shit ton of success, every Indiegogo, every in-house Steam game made by Valve. You got to look at the reason behind it, and once these budgets start ramping up into hundreds of millions of dollars, no, I don't agree that there should always be a suit there checking progress and reining people in. But we've got plenty of evidence out there that maybe there should be at least one suit going, guys, you need to come back down to earth.
Yeah, you gotta keep your expectations, realistic to a degree, and say that they could have had it and they could have had it all laid out and set, and this is what they want. But like you said, it's like, okay, well they seen this that someone else is doing. Well, that would be great to we just tweak this a little bit and add this in over here, and someone else does something that, well, we got to bring that in too. We got to make this the best because everybody, the hype behind it and everybody wants it, so we're gonna just, like you said, knock it out of the park. Well, you got to set a stopping point to a degree or an official deadline that you want to meet.
So what you're saying is there should be some oversight on this. It shouldn't just be here's a pile of money, good luck.
I'm saying that maybe these dreams have occurred, and we did live in an environment where it was a perfect storm, where no matter what somebody wanted to do, they had the ability to do it. But their dream took them far too close to the sun.
Okay. I can
I mean-
see that.
Say Half-Life 2, that only came out 13 years ago, roughly. They're still working on it.
We're not going to get a Half-Life 3, dude.
But everybody wants it, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Honestly, I don't know about that. Half-Life 2, I wonder, honestly, because Half-Life 2 was so good, if another game would be able to stand up to it. Just in the terms of, it almost feels like anything they would create would be a letdown. If that makes any sense to you guys.
At this point, being this long and all the everyone going on and on, I think no matter what, it probably would be, just because of the amount of time that's passed and the general, I guess, the want for it, and everybody's that hyped up. I mean, there's going to be some that it's going to be awesome, but there's going to be some that are going to be like, it's been this long and they want all these great goodies and they're going to be let down, I think, also, if it were to ever release.
Yeah, we'll get into the fact that Valve is fucked and never going to release Half-Life 3. We can dedicate a whole episode to that. So let's not get down in those weeds.
No, let's not fall into that rabbit hole today.
That is a deep, dark rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So, anybody else got any thoughts on game development at large and its current status?
There's a lot of possibilities out there. A lot of things can do. Depends, say, on how big it is, how big you want to go. And all it takes is time and a little bit of money, you could say. It would be nice to see if everybody could get their dreams out there, but that's very hard to accomplish, as we all know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No, I think we covered the topic pretty well. I mean, I think you gave us some real interesting points to think on, Racer, honestly.
Well, I mean, that's why we show up every week to cover the topic. I hope we did at least an okay job of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if anybody thinks we did not cover the topic well, please let us know, because fuck you. I already said it in the intro. This is RDS Gaming. We do what we want.
That's right.
We'll make sure to get right back to you and, yeah, give you the proper response.
By the way, this ain't Reddit. We feed the trolls all we want, which is not going to happen, because if you're a troll, I'm just going to ignore your ass. But anyone that has any legitimate complaints, comments, questions, please send that shit in. But yeah. Looks like another episode in the camp, folks. We thank you for tuning in and hope that you'll come back tomorrow to get a little bit dark. As always, Zero, you know what to do.
Shoot for the stars.
Shoot for Zero. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna shoot for Zero, please.